Good evening, I'm David Brown, and welcome to the Northern Sun Experience. The University of Sioux Falls football team is currently third among NSIC teams in scoring offense. And ironically enough, over the past 3 weeks, the Cougars have gone 3-0, facing the number 1, 2, and 4 offenses in the conference. USF with another tall task against another tough offense in Winona State Saturday, but the Cougs strike early. Luke Papillion 3 yards on the read option, 7-0 Sioux Falls. The rest of the first half was a field goal fest. Neither team could push it into the end zone. Winona State's Carter McCauley hits 3 field goals, USF's Brett Garner hits 1, and the Cougars lead 10-9 at halftime. But the story of the season has been Sioux Falls' dominance in the third quarter. First drive of the quarter, Max Mickey, 5-yard touchdown, 17-9 USF. Later in the third, Papillion continuing to show his asset as a runner, finds some space, 9-yard score, 24-9. Cougars continued to spread the wealth, this time Justin Folks, 9-yard touchdown to the left, 31-9 Cougars at the end of 3. Sioux Falls moves to 7-0 with a 41-30 win over Winona State. Another big NSIC matchup back in Sioux Falls. 4-2 Augustana hosting 4-2 Minnesota State. Mavs drive right down the field on their opening possession. Virgil Hammond, tough 5-yard run. Minnesota State with the early 7-0 lead. Vikings square things up later in the first. Trey Hyde with all kinds of time. And check out the grab by Matt Heller in the end zone. Make sure the ball never hits the ground. 27 yards, and we're tied at 7. Mavs now leading 14-10 toward the end of the half. Nick Piracini finds Shane Zylstra, just gets it inside the pylon. 13-yard score with 15 seconds left before halftime. 21-10 Minnesota State. Third quarter, Mavs extend the lead. Piracini to Ty Dennis, his second touchdown of the day. Minnesota State up 28-10. Augustana starts to chip away on the next drive. Hyde to Chet Pierenboom, 26-yard touchdown, cuts the lead to 28-17. Field goal cuts it to 28-20, and then Hyde finds Charlie Hayes, 15-yard touchdown, 2-point conversion good. Augie comes all the way back from 18 down to tie things up at 28. But on the ensuing kickoff, Minnesota State takes the momentum right back. Taking it at his own 4-yard line, Corey Brent finds some space and methodically goes down the left sideline, 84 yards in all, down to the Augustana 12. And on the very next play, new Mavs quarterback Ricky Lloyd rolls right, throws back to the left for a wide-open Eric Fuller. 12-yard touchdown, 35-28 Minnesota State. After an Augie fumble deep in their own territory, Lloyd finishes things off with this 8-yard run. Minnesota State wins a back-and-forth affair with Augustana, 42-35. When we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, more football highlights, including the Battle of the Beavers between Minot State and Bemidji State.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Saturday was the 18th annual Battle of the Beavers between Minot State and Bemidji State. And so far, Minnesota's Beavers from Bemidji have dominated the series, winning 16 of the first 17 matchups, including the last 13 in a row. Minot State hoping to play spoiler for Bemidji State's homecoming game. Tied at 7 in the first, BSU's Gina Adams gets some great blocks, finds a crease, and waltzes into the end zone. 22 yards, 14-7 Bemidji State. They're up 21-7 when Minot shows off its ground game. Ben Zonizer up the left sideline, and they're not going to catch him. 70 yards to the house. Minot State stays within striking distance at 21-14. That's as close as they would get. Bemidji State getting great production from its backups. Third-string quarterback Jared Henning with a 4-yard touchdown. Then he gets a short 1-yard sneak in the third quarter. Starter Jordan Hines still out with a knee injury, but it would not matter in this one. Gina Adams finishes things off, cutting back to the middle and turning on the afterburners. 75-yard touchdown. Bemidji State had 436 rushing yards as a team, just a dominant performance. And as is tradition on homecoming, the Beavers celebrate by taking a dip in Lake Bemidji. Minnesota's Beavers of BSU top North Dakota's Beavers from Minot State, 52-28. Big NSIC North clash, Northern State at Minnesota Duluth. No score in the first, but watch this. Bo Bofferding takes the jet sweep right, but then cuts back to the left, makes a beeline to the end zone. 31 yards, 8-0 Bulldogs. Less than a minute later, however, Wolves show off their running game. Christian McIlvain sucks in the defense and takes off 40 yards on the read option. Northern State pulls to within 8-7. but UMD had a heavier dose of the run game all game long. How about the plunge from offensive lineman Nolan Folker? 1-yard run makes it 16-7, and if it's so nice, why not do it twice? Folker gets his second 1-yard plunge. Bulldogs had 5 rushing touchdowns in the game. Minnesota Duluth runs over Northern State 39-19. Battle of 500 teams, St. Cloud State at MSU Moorhead, and this was a game of runs. Nate Meyer to Jamison Parsons, 10-yard touchdown, 7-0 Huskies. Next St. Cloud State possession, Meyer with a sleight of hand on play action eventually finds the left corner, 14-0 St. Cloud State. Still in the first, Huskies firing on all cylinders. Meyer with a high arching pass to John Pass, 23 yards, 20-0. Move to the second, the lead grows even more. The pitch to Joe Blando, 3-yard score, 27-0 St. Cloud State, but the Dragons would finally get off the ground on their next possession. Demetrius Carr up top, Hunter Broughton coming on down, 32 yards, makes it 27-7. Next possession, Carr with the fade to Damon Gibson makes it 27-14 at the break. Now 34-24 when Carr finds a wide open Corey Ambrose on play action, 65 yards, cuts it to 34-31. MSUM finally takes the lead in the fourth. Austin Stone with his second touchdown of the day to make it 38-34 Dragons. Less than a minute to go, however, St. Cloud State stays composed. Jaden Huff, 2-yard run of his own to retake the lead 41-38. MSUM has a chance to tie with a 40-yard field goal in the final seconds, but it falls just short. The Huskies survive 41-38. Upper Iowa taking on Concordia St. Paul Saturday, and the Peacocks were flying. Already up 7-zip when the defense comes through. JoJo Simpson takes the tip pass, rumbles 50 yards the other way, 14-0 Upper Iowa. 21-0 Peacocks when the Golden Bears finally strike. The swing pass from Ron Johnson to Darnell Roll. Check out the great block in the clear the lane. 27 yards cuts the deficit to 21-7. But Upper Iowa racked up more than 220 yards on the ground. Quarterback Brent Lammers on the read option, 22 yards. Peacocks over the Golden Bears, 41-21. Battle of winless teams, UMary at Minnesota Crookston. Special teams issues for the Golden Eagles. The dropped punt gives UMary the ball at the 1-yard line. And Colton Farmer sneaks it in on the very next play for the Marauders. They take a 6-0 lead. Second quarter, Golden Eagles start to fly. Nathan Cole up top to Rod Stewart. Yes, that is his real name. 58 yards and a reason to believe we're tied at 6. Third quarter, the back and forth continues. Farmer to Connor Graves, 15-yard touchdown. Marauders lead 13-6. Later in the third, Crookston strikes back. The pitch to Andre Person. He gets his own 15-yard touchdown. We're tied at 13 heading to the fourth quarter, but UMary would score 2 touchdowns in the final frame, including this 27-yarder from Farmer to Sam McAdams. Marauders win the Battle of the Windless 26-13 over the Golden Eagles. Wayne State at Southwest Minnesota State on Saturday. Visitors strike first. Already up 3-0, Zach Osborne to Nick Roth. Wildcats go up 9-0. Second quarter, SMSU spins out of trouble literally. Max Simmons avoids the shoestring tackle and makes reservations for 6. 22-yard touchdown, Mustangs down 9-7. Next SMSU possession, a much easier score for Simmons from 1 yard out. Mustangs lead it 14-9. Back come the Wildcats. Osborne handles the high snap and finds Nate Rogers for the 7-yard touchdown. Wayne State on top 16-14. Just before halftime, Mustangs retake the lead. Devontae Beal 2-yard plunge, SMSU up 20-16 at the break. Wayne State's offense would continue to churn along in the second half, however. Osborne takes it in from 8 yards out. Wildcats up 41-27 midway through the fourth. Simmons gets another short touchdown for the Mustangs to cut the lead to 41-33. And then with a minute to go, Blake Gimble up top to Gabri Galamu, 25-yard touchdown. The Mustangs need a 2-point conversion to tie. Normally their trick plays work, but the Statue of Liberty to Raphael Lawson Gale is snuffed out, and Wayne State gets a big road win, 41-39 over SMSU. So after a tough loss at home, the Mustangs get a short week along with a tougher opponent. SMSU travels to Mankato to take on Minnesota State in a game Thursday night at 6 p.m. Moving ahead to Saturday, Sioux Falls will look to remain perfect as the 7-0 Cougars host Concordia St. Paul at noon. Starting at 1 o'clock, Minnesota Crookston takes on Minot State. St. Cloud State visits Northern State, MSU Moorhead is at UMary, and Winona State is at Wayne State. The game of the weekend also starts at 1 o'clock, with 6-1 Bemidji State traveling to 6-1 Minnesota Duluth. The winner of that game will be in sole possession of first place in the NSIC North Division. At 3 o'clock, the final game of the weekend kicks off as Augustana visits Upper Iowa. When we come back, we check in with some great top 10 volleyball matchups. Welcome back. Last week, Concordia St. Paul volleyball lost a tough 3-2 battle with Minnesota Duluth. And as a result, the Bulldogs leaped the Golden Bears into the #1 spot on the national poll. This past Friday, CSP faced another tough challenger in Southwest Minnesota State. To St. Paul we go for the battle of 2 versus 3. First set, check out the power from Emma Lang. The kill is so powerful it ricochets off the SMSU defender and then out of bounds on the other side. The Golden Bears would take set 1 on the set 2 set point for CSP, and it's Casey Williams with a quick hitter over the net. Golden Bears take a 2-0 lead. But the Mustangs would mount a comeback. The setup for Taylor Reese, who goes cross-court. She had 20 kills on the night. SMSU takes the third set. In the fourth, Mustangs with more power. Sarah Parker with a quick putback. We would go to a fifth and deciding set, match point for SMSU. And Whitney Burmeister wins it with an ace. An unbelievable comeback as the Mustangs take down the Golden Bears 3-2. Another big top 10 matchup Saturday, Augustana at Winona State. McKenna Larson to Lauren Kadronowitz for the kill for the Warriors. Augie and Winona State split the first 4 sets. In the fifth, Vikings trying to stay alive. Anna Sikora sets up Bailey Cook, one of her 11 kills. But in a big back and forth, the home team would prevail. Larson to Taylor Gore, who hammers it to the floor. Winona State ekes out a big 3-2 victory. The NSIC still has 7 of the top 13 teams in the country, but there's been some flip-flopping in the top 10. Minnesota Duluth is still #1, but SMSU's win over Concordia vaults the Mustangs past the Golden Bears for #2. Winona State's win over Augustana puts the Warriors in 6th, while the Vikings fall to 8th. Wayne State and Northern State remain at the same at 9th and 13th, respectively. When we come back, our Under the Northern Sun campus spotlight showcases a Minot State alum thankful for a unique opportunity. Welcome back. For the past 6 episodes, we've been introducing one new member of the NSIC's 25th anniversary team. But tonight, it's twice as nice as we highlight one of the top male and female athletes in the conference's history. First and foremost, congrats are in order for former Minnesota State cross-country runner James Kryza. 2008 and 2009 were quite special for Kryza, where during those years he was an NSIC individual champion, an NSIC all-conference athlete, and the NSIC's cross-country athlete of the year, and a national All-American. And Kryza makes way for another cross-country and track athlete to be named to the team. Congrats to former UMary standout Jennifer Agnew. 2013 was the banner year for Agnew, where she was both the indoor and outdoor NSIC champion in the 3,000 and 5,000 meters. Meanwhile, out in the field, she was the 2013 NSIC individual cross-country champion, as well as the D2 national champion. All those accolades capped off a career in which she was a 5-time All-American. Congrats to both James Kryza and Jennifer Agnew, the latest members of the NSIC's 25th anniversary team. And our latest Under the Northern Sun campus spotlight focuses on someone who played for 2 teams at Minot State. Jen Dixon is a recent Beaver alum, but her impact on the school and the Minot community is just beginning.
I still remember when I found out that I had won Player of the Year. My team, we were out for lunch, we were traveling to go play, and my coach pulled me aside and said, "Hey Jen, look, you won Player of the Year." And at that point it never really hit me, right? I didn't really understand the full picture of what it all meant. Looking back now though, I am so thankful that that kind of shows how much effort I put into this college and my sports and my academics and everything that goes along with it. But I don't remember my experience based on that award. I remember my experience based on my teammates and everything that we were able to accomplish together.
Well, and first started recruiting Jen, I saw her play in a couple tournaments early when she was like sophomore summer and junior summer. And the first thing I noticed was her athleticism, her speed home to first, and she hit a triple to left center, and from home to third. She was a great athlete. So then a little further investigation, I found out she was a great student as well. And then I had known after the recruiting process got going a little bit, I found out that she was also being recruited by some Division I schools for volleyball.
Jen not only made me a better player, but she made everyone around us better players. She would always want the best from everyone, and she demanded the best from everyone. That was one of the biggest things about Jen, and you wanted to give her your best because she was so easy to follow. And there's not many people like that in sport. There's not many people that you can just look at and be like, yeah, I want to follow this girl. I want to do what she wants and make sure this team is great because I respect her so much. And that was one of the big things about Jen. Honestly, one of the rarest, most amazing people you ever meet. Just selfless in all sorts of ways, and she's really amazing. I wouldn't replace her for the world.
That is a common question that I've always been asked. You know, what is your favorite sport out of volleyball and softball? And to this day, I still cannot tell you. With my experience playing both the sports here, positive, both experiences. I loved the fact that I could go from one season to the next. And, you know, obviously I always think about would that off season have helped me grow stronger in one of the sports if I would have played one. But having the opportunity to play two was one of the biggest reasons why I came to Minot State, and I would never be able to choose one or the other still to this day. Moving from NAIA to Division II required so much more, I don't know how to say this, I wouldn't say more commitment, but you know, it required every single person on both teams to be locked in, ready to go at all times. That competitiveness and that intensity going to the next level really changed. Having that 1 year transition year was tough, but I think it really helped prepare not only volleyball and softball, but every other sport as well to make that leap into the next division. And I'm very thankful that I had the opportunity to play Division II. I have no regrets coming to Minot State. Minot State was one of the best parts of my life. I spent 5 years here, and I call it home. I just recently came back from my first alumni event, and it's crazy to be on the other side of it. But I'd say that the culture that they have developed here in this program and this school and the athletics and academics, it's crazy. You know, I didn't know a lot of people for this alumni event, but it felt like I had known them my entire life, and that's what they do here at Minot State. And I don't look back with any regrets. I was very thankful to be a part of both volleyball and softball and meet the people I had a chance to meet. And it's just been an amazing experience that I look back on and will never forget.
When we come back, the national champion Augie basketball team reunited on Saturday to receive their championship rings. We take a look back at the team and a look ahead to this season next.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. Believe it or not, basketball season is just around the corner, and of course the NSIC has the most recent men's national basketball champion in Augustana. The Vikings were honored at Saturday's football game, where most of the championship team was on hand to receive their rings. It's been more than 6 months since Augustana hoisted the championship trophy in Frisco, Texas. But now the players and coaches have the rings to accompany the trophy.
It was a great season. I'm probably appreciating it a little bit more finally now. You just kind of got through it and you felt relieved. It's hard to explain. But as the summer went on and then this fall being able to do a lot of clinics and meeting a lot of different people, you kind of put it into a little bit of a perspective.
It's a tough one because it kind of all sinks in that it's actually over. So There's definitely a good way to go out, though. If you gotta call her quits, it's definitely a good one to go out winning the national championship.
You spend a year with guys that you can call your brothers, truly, and you accomplish something like a national championship. It's going to be friendship for life with all those guys.
Casey Schilling and Alex Richter have graduated now, so Saturday's ceremony was a sense of closure. But for the returning players, the ceremony was the chance to finally focus on this season, so they can recapture the spirit of last season.
It's kind of been a few months since we had that feeling again, and just having all the guys back and actually getting our rings and how great they look. It's just really living that moment again of winning the national championship.
Last year is always going to be a great memory, but it's time for next year to begin. Excited about this group. They're used to winning. It's their chance now. A lot of these kids didn't get to play as many minutes as they wanted to, and they came here to play basketball, and now they've earned their time. So we're excited about this young group coming up and the returners, and just very excited about the season coming up, and really and truly just can't wait.
The road to a second straight national championship in Division II starts against a perennial power in Division I. As an annual tradition, Duke invites the D2 champion in North Carolina to play an exhibition game. The Vikings visit Cameron Indoor Stadium on November 4th.
We're not looking at it as a win-loss, but it's just going to be a great experience playing against one of the best Duke teams there is right now, and I think our guys will just be prepared like any other game.
What an honor, and it'll be a great experience just to be on the just on the floor at a revered place. People bucket list. People go to games there one time in their life just to say they've been to Cameron Indoor. So it'll be a great experience. Their fans will be nothing we've ever seen before, but I think our kids will just have a great time.
Good luck to the Vikings in 2 weeks. Once again, a thank you to all of our NSIC member schools for their time and contributions. Tune in next week for yet another Northern Sun experience.